Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto Manga Chapter review. This one's going to be for Chapter 43, which is called Manifestation. So overall this was a very good chapter because it had some sort of big reveals. It feels like we're really transitioning into sort of like a new stage of the story kind of coming out of this. Obviously there's some good setup for what's coming immediately next, but it did some sort of surprising stuff in terms of what they committed to, and just touches on a lot of the, I think, most interesting parts of Boruto while still keeping some of it a mystery. There's still some like pacing problems. I continue to not overly like the general pacing, how much they focus on certain things in fights and so on, but this chapter, it wasn't as bad as the last few weeks have been, because we got pretty much straight to what we needed to in this one. So that's something good definitely to come out of this one. So let's get into the chapter. So we opened up the big cliffhanger ending from last month's chapter was, of course, that Sarada used the Chidori, and she was targeting the core, which was the thing that basically allows the crazy regeneration power for Boro here, and she had managed to track it down into his side and seemingly got it. And it's confirmed at the start of this chapter here that she does in fact get this core. Everyone reacts to her doing this. This is Kawaki, I suppose, his first time seeing this jutsu. Boruto notes that it's one of Sasuke's jutsu, and Mitsuki's the one to, of course, explain it and how you need the Sharingan to use it properly. So she gets the core, we see what it looks like, and as she's still sort of following through on the attack, she smashes it. So the core has been destroyed, and immediately Boro reacts to this pretty aggressively. "You stupid little girl," and he begins to sort of change and morph at this point. It seems like his whole body starts to go basically haywire here. They thought this would kind of kill him, but he's still alive in this. They just have to sort of take him out now that he can't regenerate. So he basically gets bigger and bigger, like his beard grows and stuff like that. It's basically just to turn him into this sort of rampaging monster here as we get into the sort of plot focus of the story. So Kawaki basically urges everyone that we shouldn't really fight him. He's kind of too unpredictable, but he's done, basically, is the approach they're taking here. And Kawaki just notes, we're pretty worn out. Don't go near him. He can still hurt you. We need to deal with, Lord Seventh here. So that's what Mitsuki points out, that, if we get Naruto out, he can, help us here as well. And Boruto, focuses on that. And they finally have a chance to sort of look at the kind of sealing jar that he's been put in. And they can't, lift it, of course, so it's too heavy. They consider, do we break it again? But they're like, no, they'll damage what's inside. And that's when Kawaki comes up with the idea that they'll use their sort of combined karma mark power to do the, space-time ninjutsu, basically. That's how they'll do it. They'll create a portal inside, Naruto can come out that way, and that's how they'll get him out. So that's basically what they do here. It should be possible by that same principle to use a gate to connect the space inside here and the space we're standing in. So that's what they go for. So they together they don't even touch here. They basically just both stick out their karma mark hands, and the space-time portal opens. We see Naruto's hand come out first, and he falls out. He's kind of unconscious, but as they point out, the fact that Kawaki's hand is still functional, his replacement arm, means that Naruto is actually still alive. The fact that chakra connection is still working. So Naruto's out of the sealing jar, and immediately this is okay, so things aren't going exactly the way we expected them to based on the last bunch of chapters. Because I think myself and a lot of other people reading these chapters thought that Naruto being imprisoned, sealed away here, was the situation Naruto was in from the very first chapter of Boruto, where we saw the flash forward to older Boruto and older Kawaki, that this was what happened to Naruto, that he was actually sealed here for years upon years. But they do actually get him out here. Now, this chapter doesn't get to the point where they have him back in the village, but it definitely seems to be leaning in the direction of like they get him back, and whatever happens to set up the flash forward for Boruto Chapter 1 is a completely sort of separate incident to this. So that is that's definitely an interesting one. It definitely kind of changes the way things are going to work. In that, like, okay, they're not completely, removing Naruto from the story for a while. That could have worked, but I can see value in still having, Naruto be more active in the story, and then maybe go away for a while or whatever happens. So anyway, this is when like Boro, we haven't forgot about Boro while all this discussion is going on. He's rampaging around the place. He actually smashes Mitsuki into the ground here, and sort of Mitsuki's out of action for a while here. They turn around and see that he really has turned into this like giant monster. He just starts screaming at them, "You dare make a fool of me, you won't get away with this." Kawaki uses his karma mark and just kind of blasts one of Boro's arms off at this point, but he uses his other arm and just throws Kawaki away through some of the rubble around the place. So that takes sort of Kawaki out of action. Sarada is about to use a fire style jutsu, but she gets grabbed and is about to be crushed. When Boruto springs into action, he kicks the bottom of Boro's arm, and that kind of frees Sarada, but Boruto then gets slammed off to the side. And it seems, this is the setup here, it seems like Boro is about to go in and finish Boruto off. He's just going to pound Boruto completely into the ground. They get across the sort of dramatics of this situation by Sarada, who's also on the ground after being kind of nearly crushed. Is kind of looking at this scene about to happen. She's like, stop, as the punch is coming in that would surely kill Boruto. But as we see the rubble, there's nothing there. And it's revealed that he didn't hit anything, and Boruto is there floating, flying, levitating, whatever you want to call it, in the sky. He's had a complete karma mark transformation here. This is basically the same sort of ability that Jigen pulled a bunch of chapters ago to go up into the next level. This is sort of emphasized by the fact that he has the horn here, the sort of Otsutsuki horn. The karma mark, the markings have kind of gone all the way up his arm, up his neck, across his eye, and stuff like that. Now, there will be some discussion, I think, coming out of this chapter about what way are we meant to interpret like Boruto's sort of eye situation here of like, is this the Jogan? Because they don't point it out like at all that that's the case, and some people have made the argument that like, oh, because he's sort of channeling Momoshiki, it's just Momoshiki's Byakugan, so that's what it is. But they don't emphasize him doing anything with his eye either way, in that, if it was full Byakugan, you'd probably see the veins of it being used and see him do some sort of like, X-ray vision thing like the Byakugan is typically used for. And then the Jogan, of course, we don't even know the full extent of what it can do, but it's kind of an energy-based thing for the most part. And again, it doesn't seem like anything happens there. So it's just that Boruto's eye, they emphasize it to a certain degree as part of this transformation, but we don't know exactly what it is. So yeah, we definitely have to wait and see what the whole situation there is. I can see it going like either way. Like, I suppose the argument would be that like Jigen, when he did this transformation, he didn't have a Byakugan or anything like that, so this more than likely is the Jogan here, though like I said, it doesn't get used. Otherwise I think we would have seen some other stuff happen. I think the impression here is that because Boruto is nearly out of chakra, it probably can't be used just yet. So yeah, when Boruto speaks, it's very clearly Momoshiki speaking through Boruto. Don't get cocky, you inferior creature. Just that wording, like Boruto would never say that, you inferior creature, regardless of who he's saying that to. They are not words that would come out of Boruto's mouth, so that gets across this whole possession idea that the karma mark is the Otsutsuki that was defeated, leaving an aspect of themselves behind in the vessel. And the idea is that that person can be taken over, which is what happened with Jigen. It is actually Ishiki in control of, the person who Jigen is. Here, it's Momoshiki actually taking over Boruto for, like, I suppose, probably one of the first times. So Boro reacts really crazy to this. He's like, oh, Tsuki. He's like shocked to see this kind of power in front of him. He goes to punch him, but Boruto just does a crazy kick and basically obliterates Boro's other arm here. It has the same effect basically as like Kawaki's laser blast, but it's just a kick. He then charges at him, kind of knee strike right to the middle, and sends Boro flying backwards. We get Sarada's reaction here. She's shocked by what she's seeing here because Boruto is just able to float in midair. So it seems like Momoshiki's about to try and do something else when he realizes, oh, he has almost no chakra left. So he sees Naruto on the ground and goes down to him, and he extracts some chakra from Naruto here, and he says that should be sufficient. And then what exactly happens here? Yeah, he charges at Boro again, kicks him, and then jumps into the air, kicks him down into the ground, and then sort of lands on top of him, as this is when I suppose Mitsuki kind of gets up and sees that Boruto is like this as well. And then interestingly here, Momoshiki says, what did he call it, that jutsu of his? Ah, that's right, Rasengan. And I love the way they do this like sudden transition of just like he's just thought of the name of it, and then it just happens. Like we cut to him figuring out the name of the jutsu that I suppose killed him, and then he just activates it like directly underneath him. And it's not a standard Rasengan, it's basically, you know, the equivalent of the Rasengan that did kill Momoshiki. He activates it on that level. It's this huge, you know, giant Rasengan that's like 100 times the size of Boruto, and it just obliterates the land underneath them, with the idea being that Boro has just been annihilated here by Momoshiki / Boruto, whatever way you want to call it. And so everyone is shocked by this. Even Kawaki sort of gets up and sees the last couple of seconds of Boruto like this. Yeah, at this point, you know, he's like, wait, Mitsuki, what just happened here? Everyone is really, really unsure. And as this power is about to fade, because of course, Momoshiki had to get some of Naruto's chakra, so the chakra's fading, he won't have the power to keep this form. Momoshiki's last words for now is, no, not yet. My dear blue-eyed boy, it's still a ways away. That you'll lose it all. So what that's referencing is the conversation that Momoshiki had when he was defeated with Boruto, when the karma mark was, I suppose, gifted to him, when I suppose Momoshiki chose Boruto as his vessel. He basically said that those blue eyes will like lead you to lose everything that you care about, that now that you've defeated a god, your life will not be ordinary going forward. It was something along those lines. I might be paraphrasing slightly, but that's what's being referenced here to make it super clear. It is Momoshiki that we're talking about here because of the exact wording of that. Him specifically noting his eyes, that he's blue-eyed, and that you'll lose everything eventually. That comparison between the eyes and the fact that one day his own powers or something related to this incident will lead to him losing everything. So that's the setup for the future. So he falls from the air, of course. He's levitating. The power goes away. Mitsuki reaches out and grabs him, and Boruto doesn't remember any of this, what just happened. So this is when Sarada really knows that like he seemed like someone else. It might be even more dangerous than we thought, this karma mark power. And you have this nice kind of three panels here of just Kawaki being shocked by what's happened, Boruto like, I just kind of blacked out for a second and something happened, and then an unconscious Naruto still there. So this is where we cut away from this section of the story for now into the last 2 pages for the setup for what's happening next. Kashin Koji walks into Kara headquarters, walks by the doctor guy, Amato or something like that. I think that's what it is. And basically is pointed out here, Jigen is recharging in the back. He hasn't even regained 10%. And Koji's just like, I see. What about Boro and Code? And he's just told they're both out. Boro's guarding the Hokage, and we saw what happened there. Boro's gone now, we assume. And then Code is with the Ten Tails. And Koji's like, good. And Amado's like, you're going to do it now. And he's like, yeah, I'm taking him down. So we end with, I suppose, Koji walking into the room where Jigen is trying to regain his chakra. So we're going to see a 10% Jigen, Ishiki, whatever you want to call him, versus, I suppose, full power Kashin Koji. This very likely is going to be where we finally get the reveal of who Kashin Koji actually is, his connection to the Leaf Village, all of that stuff. And then it's also going to be very important because they've already set up the idea that Jigen is not the perfect vessel, that this is a vessel that is, close to kind of breaking down, that Ishiki is going to have to get a new vessel before long, and he wants it to be Kawaki. So what way are they going to do this fight? Is this going to be Koji pushing Jigen to the limit, but dying, but leading to Jigen having to immediately get a new vessel? Or is Koji going to win somehow, think he has it, but the vessel will change? There's also the potential, I suppose, along the lines of a sort of Orochimaru type thing, where Jigen may have to settle for something like inhabiting Koji for the time being, because we know there's like a time skip we're eventually building towards at some point. So it might be a little bit too quick to do all of this stuff immediately, in that, like, I don't see within like the next 4 or 5 chapters us having Kawaki possessed by Ishiki just yet. But then again, I'm not even sure about the full scope of the whole thing of, like, okay, Kawaki is a vessel and has the, karma mark as such, but, like, obviously the actual, spirit in a way of Ishiki is not in him, so that transference has to happen, which then sort of separates the idea of the karma mark and then the Otsutsuki behind it all. So there's something going on here that's going to be pretty interesting, meaning that, like, we could just have like a simple situation where, like, Koji is actually able to kill Jigen here, but that just by default, because there's already like a pre-prepared vessel, that Ishiki is able to just like sort of be like reborn or whatever within Kawaki straight away, that maybe there's no need for like a transference maybe to happen, but we'll see how it goes down. It's definitely an exciting cliffhanger. Like, for the first time in a bunch of chapters, we finally have a cliffhanger that's like, yes, please, like, this is the perfect one. We're gonna get, I suppose, immediately at the start of the next chapter, Koji's gonna be talking to Jigen. We'll see the betrayal happen. Will they reveal it in the middle of the fight or at the start? Not really sure, but it's gonna be pretty cool. And it seems like Amado's just okay with it. The kind of ninja tool specialist, scientific ninja tool specialist guy is just perfectly fine with this. He's just in the back going on with things. He seems to be okay with this plan that, like, they both knew that this was going to happen, so that Koji's told it to him before. So that's going to be pretty exciting. But yeah, overall, like I said, much better chapter than some of the more recent ones, because it had some very big stuff going on in that. Oh wow, they seem to just have Naruto. Like, I assumed they're going to just rest up a bit and then space-time ninjutsu their way back to the village, and we're just going to have to regroup. That while Kara is fighting amongst itself, our characters are going to have time to heal. So Sasuke will be able to heal, Naruto will be able to heal, and we deal with the aftermath of, like, understanding the karma mark some more, and I suppose just like debriefing Naruto, Sasuke, and everyone on what exactly happened here, now that they sort of know the truth in a way about Kara and Jigen. But we'll see on that. So yeah, that's my review for chapter 43 of Boruto. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.